We just got the schedule from MLB announcing the postseason format. And so there are some changes, remember, because of the lockout, too. So they kind of push things back. So we're trying to squeeze in games and still make sure we have got the added games for the wild card round as well. So here we go. The wild card round in both the National and American Leagues. You got game 1, 2, and 3. They'll be played October 7, 8, and 9. Now, the big deal with the wild card series is that all 3 games are going to be played for the home team, if necessary. It could be 2, could be 3, but there's no travel in that series. Now, here's the wrinkle in the division series. Now, keep your eyes on the dates. So in the National League Division Series, there's only going to be 1 off day. So the first 2 games are going to be played. There'll be an off day. And then they're going to play 3 games in a row if necessary. But that 5th game, you're going to it's 2-2-1. So that teams are going to have to get on a plane after game 4, fly to the opposing team city, and then play game 5. In the American League Division Series, there are 2 off days. So there's an off day after game 1, and then you play game 2. There's an off day after game 2. Then you're going to get on a plane. You're going to fly, but you're going to have a similar scenario that you have in the National League, where if you get to game 5, there's no off day. And, folks, that's just a wrinkle in the way the schedule is at that time of the year. They're just trying to condense things to make sure they get these in. So, to kind of fill in the blanks, if the season ended today, which it does not, but this is a good way to help us illustrate what we could be looking at. Astros and Yankees, remember, top 2 seeds get the byes, and then the wild card, it's the best of 3, but the Rays would be going to play Cleveland for potentially 3 games, and the Mariners would travel to Toronto to play the Blue Jays. It's 2 of 3, but if you get to, if each team wins 1 of the games and you're playing 3 straight games, so I think it's a big advantage for the home team. In the National League, the Dodgers, they've got the best record in baseball. The Mets, they both will get a bye. And then you'd see the Phillies traveling to St. Louis, again, because the Cardinals, if they win the division, they're gonna play in the wild card round, but they're going to have the highest seed in that wild card round. Meanwhile, San Diego will travel to Atlanta, and again, the higher seed hosts all 3 games of the wild card series. So that was a lot of stuff. I'm
not feeling too good, Fred.
No, but as we bring it back inside Studio 3.
That's a lot.
But that's why I tried to make sure we went through it slowly.
Yeah.
There are 2 big points. Last year, what we've seen, what we're used to, the 1-game wild card, that's gone. There's an extra team in the postseason, and now we're going to have the best of 3. So let's just talk about that wild card round, for instance, a team like Seattle. So let's say they're going to play the October 7th, 8th, and 9th. You're playing 3 days in a row. You're playing on the road. And what's going to make this interesting now, it's going to be a lot more challenging, Case and Chris, for managers to set up their pitching rotations, because there's going to be 1 day off. Let's say the Mariners, Chris, they use all 3 of these games. They happen to win, but then there's only going to be 1 game off. So their number 4 starter is going to have to start game one against Justin Verlander.
Yeah. And you only get Castillo potentially twice. In that 3-game series, if you end up going all 3 of those games with the quick turnaround and not having the days off, you may only get the chance to go to your ace 1 time in that divisional series, which a lot of teams, you're going to really have to show your depth. And when I see this format that's going on, one thing I see is advantage Astros, advantage Mets. Think of organizations that have deep starting rotations to where they have 5 guys that can go into the playoffs. But when you have teams that only have 2 or 3 guys, when you have a series where you're playing 1 game, have a day off, and then you're going 4 straight, I think about the starters, and not only the starters, I think about the bullpens. Let's say you're the Brewers and you have Devin Williams go 2 days in a row. And now, what are you going to do that next day or those next couple of days? I mean, a lot of bullpens are about to get exposed.
That's what I was going to say. I think the biggest thing when I look at this format, I say, okay, you got 13 guys, pitchers. What team has those guys can mix and match every night to get where they want to go? And I think that's what we're going to see. Who's going to get exposed in that bullpen and in that rotation? And you talked about the wild card. You're right. When you got a best-of-5 division series and you got to throw in your number 4 starter in game 1, it's definitely a disadvantage.
You used to have 8 good pitchers. You have your starters, and then you have your, 4 bullpen pieces that you go to, kind of like the Braves did last year. The Braves go with their starters, and you go to Matzik, and all the other M's, and Smith, and
right.
But with this new format, you're not going to be able to go to those same guys every single night, and a lot of people may be in trouble with that.
So and we'll put a bow on this before we get to the League Championship Series. But, okay, so, everyone said, or a lot of people said, the one game isn't enough for a wild card situation, so let's make it 2 or 3. I think the league did a tremendous job. Okay, we will make it 2 or 3, but the team that gets in there on that number 6 spot, it's going to be difficult for them if they advance because you won the wild card.
Yeah.
You didn't win there has to be some kind of reward for winning the division.
I like that, though. Yeah. I like that. If I'm a wild card team, give me 3, and we'll figure out the division series, right? So the one game, you're like, oh, man, we come all this way. We got one game. Now it's 3 games. I think Major League Baseball did a great job of getting that done. But you're right, Fran. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, win the division and don't win the wild card because you're definitely going to be strapped in that division series.
All right, so now that you've digested all that, let's take it to the League Championship Series. And there's a little bit of funkiness there. CY talked about playing consecutive games on multiple days. You're going to play potentially 3 games in a row in the division series. How about this in the championship series? Both LCSs are going to have just 1 day off. So, and then you're going to play potentially 5 games in a row, 5 days in a row. So you're going to get a day off in both series after the first 2 games. And then after that, you're playing every day, even on a travel day. So it's still going to be 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, look at this. But look at this right side. Yeah.
Let me get this straight. Let me get this right. It's going to be 2-3-2. So it's not going to be 2-2-1-1-1. 2-3-2. But you're going to play 5 days in a row. So you're going to travel. You're going to play a game, travel, and then play the next day.
Well, from a player's point of view, CY, that's what we want. The guys want that because we're doing that all year long. All year long, you're playing every single day. And I think from a manager's point of view, that's how you would stack guys up. So for me, and looking back, man.
But let me flip it on you real quick.
Yeah.
But with that extra day of rest for a travel day, instead of getting 2 travel days, you're only going to get 1 here. It's going to affect your rotation because somebody's going to end up if the series goes deep, Chris, somebody's going to have to go on short rest.
On short rest.
Maybe 2 guys are going to end up having to go on short rest.
On that ALCS side, you're talking about playing 1 day.
And Tom, let's bring that back up. By the way, let's bring the graphic back up just to see why, as you mentioned what
you're talking about playing 1 day on October 19th. And 20th, playing 2 days, and then off day, then 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. As a team, you're like, hey, man, we better win early.
Let's go. Exactly.
If you don't have a lot of depth, the days that you use those major bullpen pieces, you have to win those games. If you don't win those games when you're using your big-time horses, you're going to get yourself with your back completely against the wall, and you're going to just get yourself run out of the playoffs.
No, but I love it. It shows who's the best team. How well have you constructed your team for 162, and then when you get to the postseason, here we go. Like you've been playing like this all year long, playing every day. So now if you have all those pieces in the bullpen, Fran, I tell you what, there might be a couple guys you can't throw back-to-back days. Who are your 2, 3, 4th options? Are they legit? Have you done a great job, scouting? What'd you do at the deadline? Did you get the right pieces? Did you get the bullpen guys? So I love it. As a baseball fan, I look at this and say, okay, who has done their homework, who has the right pieces, and who has the depth to win the championship series?
Yeah, I like it as well because I think it puts an emphasis back on starting pitching. I think we had started to get away from that, definitely during the regular season. But in the postseason, we saw the teams who didn't have as deep starting pitching were getting exposed. If you want to win a World Series, you got to have very good starting pitching.
Have to.
But now that's going to be more of a premium with what's going on here in this format.